All right, well, we are at Uttarpara, which is the manufacturing facility, one of the manufacturing facilities for Titagarh Rail Systems Limited. And to talk more on what really Titagarh Rail Systems is doing, we will be joining with the Deputy Managing Director, Mr. Prithish Chowdhary. Thank you, Pritish, for speaking to us at Business Today. First question, of course, everybody's talking about what are you doing? You have given fantastic returns to your investors as well. The order book's looking strong, but I want to ask you first on the order book. There's been substantial saying that you're getting too many orders, and fulfillment has been a little issue towards the end. While execution is the main key for infrastructure systems, where are you standing at the order books? You've been bagging contracts from railways, for defense as well, for metros as well. Where are we standing right now?
Sure. So today we have an order book of about 24 odd thousand crores, which is almost evenly split between the freight rail systems and the passenger rail systems. On the freight rail systems, you see, that is a very stable line of business for us where we aim to produce between 900 to 1,000 wagons per month on a consistent basis. Now, there were some difficulties in the last financial year, especially in the last 2 quarters, which is again in public domain. It was due to the lack of supply of wheel sets from the rail wheel factory. But we do believe that from this quarter onwards, that issue should become resolved, should get resolved, and Q2 should return a sense of normalcy for the wagon production. On the passenger rail system side, you see, a lot of our projects for the last 2 3 years have been in various phases, primarily in the design phase or in the prototype development phase. This financial year, so 25, 26, and 26, 27, is really when we start seeing the returns because the production starts. Projects move from design to execution to then series execution after that. In Q2 or beginning of Q3, we'll see the Ahmedabad and the Surat prototypes being delivered. By March or by April, we'll see the Vande Bharat sleeper prototype being delivered. So a lot of the trains, a lot of the projects that were actually being designed are now getting productionized.
The next 2 years are very crucial for you when it comes to actually, delivering the products to the respective customers for you. Is everything on track? We see, shortage for electric vehicles when it comes to the magnets issue, and we see the global geopolitical situation, and we see a lot of, products when it comes to manufacturing of locomotives are also imported. So, are you facing any issues of components and anything as of now?
So as of now, not specifically, no, but there are always supply chain challenges in an industry of this nature. In one metro coach, there are almost 3,000 parts that are involved in just one single coach. So in an industry of this nature, supply chain challenges are normal, but then that is why all of us are here. That is why the management is here to ensure that we have enough warning and then those are dealt with.
Right. So we saw, in FY24, we saw, we saw good revenue coming in for the company, but the quarter four saw profit pressure. What are the factors leading to the margins pressure, and how are you trying to mitigate that?
So that was not, we're not very concerned about that phenomenon because what happened was all our materials for the wagons, they were ready. The wagons were almost produced to a large extent, but the wheels were not available. So there was a large amount of work in progress and inventory that couldn't be turned into revenue. So that was a temporary phenomenon which we're not too concerned about. On a steady state or on a regular basis, a 12 to 13% EBITDA on the wagon business is achievable.
Also, recently you came up with the announcement of integration with Ramkrishna Forging of a joint venture. How does it really help you creating a backward circular economy and a backward integration? Because it would definitely lead to a more easing of cost pressures, and have a local JV in hand would always be helpful for an OEM like you. Tell us about that.
So it's not just cost pressures, it's also supply chain. As we discussed, the production was muted because of a lack of supply of wheels. Now the JV that we're setting up is for the production of forged wheels. So while this issue will be resolved for Q2 and going forward temporarily, this wheel set issue has been a perpetual issue that keeps coming up from time to time. And the only permanent solution to this would be our own facility that we're setting up with RKFL. That is going to be up and running by, let's say, February or March of 2026, with a capacity of about 228,000 wheels per annum.
How much are you putting the money into it there?
So it is funded by debt, by 2:1 debt equity mix, where the equity portion is about 600 crores in total, so 300 crores per partner.
Also, one more JV that's been really talked about is the JV with Hitachi on the propulsion systems.
ABB.
ABB, sorry, with on the propulsion system. How's that going? When can we expect that to be coming up full and up and running?
So that is not actually a JV. That was more of just a technological agreement that we had with ABB. Now that is when once we see the Ahmedabad Metro and the Surat Metro come to a completion, that is when the absorption of that technology also gets completed. So by let's say 27, we should have that metro propulsion technology absorbed with our people.
All right. And now, since you have two, I think one or two global facilities as well, I'm sure you would like to capture on the global opportunities for exports as well. Any plans for the European markets in particular, so that we see a more export-driven economy from a locally made company like Titagarh Wagons for that? Any plans on that front?
So we will definitely look at the export market with a lot of keenness and a lot of interest. Not at the moment. At the moment, we're focused on India because the opportunities that India presents today as a market, no other country in the world presents. The policies of the Indian government are such that India is a market like no other today. And to look outside when there's so much to do in our own home would not be very wise. So our intent is very clear to establish a company, establish a rolling stock facility for the world, to really make in India and make for the world, but at least make sure that India is fully catered to before we start looking abroad.
Also, and we visited the facility, we took a round of it, and we saw massive expansion plans also underway. You are actually trying to expand and create more, facility for your own self, so that you can roll out the products faster. Do you also production are you sitting at right now, and how much you plan to expand in the coming years?
So today we are at a production capacity of about 300 coaches per month. The production levels, for reasons I explained earlier, are a little lower because the products have been in their design and prototyping phase. But eventually, by 27, 28, we will have a capacity here of 850 coaches per annum.
And also, we see, British, that with over time, a lot of tier two, tier three towns are coming up with this ambitious metro projects, and rapidly India is rapidly advancing towards integrated railway economy as well. Because if the operational costs and logistics costs have to come down, India really needs to move up the game on railways. So that will significantly mean that you will have to ramp up your capacities as well. But what is the future that you're looking at when it comes to India's railway scenario, locomotives, cargo freight movements, EMUs? What are you looking at?
So I think the ambitions of the government and the ambitions of the people of the country are fully aligned here. When we say that the railways is going to be bright, the future of the railways is going to continue to remain bright for the next at least decade or even longer. On the passenger front, like you very rightly said, now tier 2, tier 3 cities even are coming up with plans for some form of urban mass transit, whether that's a metro or a metro neo or a light metro, whatever that may be. That I personally believe is also necessary for a country like India with a population size like that of India to have an efficient, a fast, and a safe urban mass transit system. So, if I was to sum it up in one sentence, what is the future of the railway ecosystem in India? I would say extremely bright.
And to the last two set of questions, what all, which all cities are you seeing the scope for having more orders from? We see Nagpur Metro being developed, and Kolkata Metro, of course, is the leading example of that. But how are you seeing other cities coming up with the metro plans? Are you in touch with the local state governments? Have they reached out to you? Any other?
There are a lot of tenders that are already live from different states. There are tenders live for Mumbai. There are expectations for Chennai, tenders to come out for Chennai, new tenders for Delhi, for Patna, for Bhubaneswar. So metros is, as I said, is going to be booming for the next at least decade or if not more.
What are you more bullish on as far as your business is concerned? You'll be more happy to supply to the metro, or more happy to supply to the government as far as the trains are concerned?
No, so for us, as you would have also seen with the facility we've created, is interfungible. If there is a demand of more metros than Vande Bharats, our facility can cater to that. If there is a demand for more Vande Bharats than metros, our facility can cater to that as well.
All right, last question finally. If I could ask you on your Capex plans, how much are you actually trying to divide your product differentiation into as far as railways and other metros go for FY26 in particular? Any number to that?
So we had announced a couple of years back a total capital outlay of about 1,000 odd crores to be spent. a large portion of that, a large chunk of that has already been spent, and the remainder will be incurred within the next year or so.
And you also, the board recently approved, expansion or probably venturing into the maritime and the shipbuilding business. Give us a news on that, because I know that's a very part that you would not like to talk about right now. But yes, I would like to take this advantage and ask you what's really happening there. What are you looking at?
Sure. So Titagarh has been in the shipbuilding business for about 10, 11 odd years now. Not in a very financially substantial manner, but reputationally a very substantial manner. You know, the projects we've delivered have been the kinds of scientific research vessels for the Ministry of Earth Sciences. We've delivered fast patrol vessels, which is a warship, to the Coast Guard along with GRSC. We've built export vessels for GRSC. So we've built a very strong reputation for ourselves as a quality shipbuilder and as a timely shipbuilder. Going forward, we aim to expand this business because we see the potential in this business. Now, with the added focus that's being given onto the sector by the government of India as well, we believe that it has the potential to be a very large contributor to our financials going forward.
Are you looking into shipbuilding in particular, and what all states are you looking at? Are you looking at Gujarat?
So currently we have
Karnataka?
a yard in Calcutta. We are planning to expand in Calcutta itself. But going forward, you know, depending on how large this business gets, what the future looks like, maybe those plans evolve. But
Any investment amount that you'd like to?
not that I can disclose at the moment because we're still firming up our numbers. But maybe in a few weeks or few months' time, we will reconnect and I'll have those numbers for you.
Pritish, thank you so much for joining us. Pleasure as always to speak to you. That was Pritish, the Deputy Managing Director at Titagarh Rail Systems Limited, talking about how bullish the company is, and of course how he sees the railway economy and substantial infrastructure going up. With camera person Argo, this is Chetan Bhutani reporting from Uttarpara for Business Today.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.